day, everyone. My name is Zubair Abubakar, and today we are going to be looking at the introduction to UI UX design. This is the first course for the series. Click the like button and follow for more. So the first thing we have here is UI UX design, the term and introduction to this broad field in the tech space. So what is UI UX design? What does it stand for? The UX, what does it stand for? It says UX refers to the term user experience and the design. So why UI stands for user interface? Both elements are crucial to a product and work closely together, but despite their professional relationship, the roles themselves are quite different, referring to a very different aspect of the product development process and design discipline. So the key point here is that both UI and UX design are attached or connected with the product development process, but they serve different aim. The goal is the same, but they have different processes. So we have some people who are specialized in UI design, some are specialized in user experience design, but you must have the fundamentals of both fields. So what is the difference between UI and UX? Since you said they are distinctive, but they are both in the product development process. What is the difference? What is the difference between UI and UX design? So as Rahul says, UI experience and user interface are some of the most confused and misused terms in our field. Because some people, they don't even use UX design, they just mean UI UX design. Some use it in this way. Okay, it says a UI without UX is like a painter slapping paint onto a canvas without thought. Because UI, as you said, is just the user interface. Let me give a realistic difference between them. UI is just what you see, what you touch in any application or digital framework. What you see, what you touch, what you feel. So not what you feel, what you see, what you touch, what you hear. The UX is what you feel. For example, when you click on a button and the button loads fast, how that responds to you. How do you feel? You feel happy, because it saves your time. So that's it. That's UX. What you feel when you interact with the design of any application or any software or anything digital at all. Even it still deals with non-digital products, but we are focusing on digital products here. Digital product, well, it says product management software. There's no digital here. But we are dealing with digital UI UX design. So that's just a difference. But there's this difference that the elders, the senior UX design they say that what, for example, the ketchup. There was a time in the US where the ketchup was a bottle. So when you have a bottle, the pressure is small. The surface pressure is small. So when you are trying to get it out, it gives you a tough time. But when they turned it to a plastic bottle that you can just compress and it comes out, that was a better UX design. Because the users will be happy. It makes them happy and it makes them feel good. So that's UX. That's the difference. So let's just continue reading what it's here. It says a UI without UX is like a painter slapping paint onto a canvas without thought. Because UX design has to deal with psychology, the human psychology, who you are designing for, thinking as they think. Because the key thing in UX design is how to think as others think. Sympathy. We are going to look at that, inshallah. So it says, while UX without UI is like the frame of a sculpture with no paper machine on it. UX without UI is like the frame of a sculpture without paper on it. So it's not possible to have no good look. The UI and UX, they both contribute to what? The feel of the user. They both go hand in hand. If you have a good UX without good UI, it's not going to work. If you have a good UI without good UX, it's not going to work. A great product experience starts with UX followed by UI. Both are essential for the product process. Yeah, it starts with UX because there's no way UI can ever survive without UX. Because even when you are dealing with UI, You're also dealing with how the product, how the users will feel. When you're using colors, when you're using fonts, when you're using all these things, it still comes to how the user will feel. So everything, that's why some scholars of UX design, they say that what? Everything boils down to user experience. Like the Google design course of Coursera, you can check it out. They just call it UX design, UX design, UX design. So that's for the introduction, and I would like for us to do the UI part of it, because we're in this part of the country where UI seems to be growing more, and as we are taking the UI, we are taking the UX that is connected to UI, and then we take the research part of it later in the course. Also, so the software we're going to be using for our UI design is Figma. We're going to learn the interface, learn how to use the software. So what I used to design this, and it took me close to 3 minutes to just gather this and design. And I got the text from, in case you want to read more, got it from Cloud Foundry. You can just search for it. You can ask for the link, so you can click on this and get there to read more about UI UX design and how it came about at university. So this is the software I'm going to be using for the UI UX design. How to get the software? How do I get the Figma software? So Figma has two types. It has the web-based software, where you don't need to install it into your system. But I would advise you use the desktop version, which is to download the Figma desktop. So you can just type in your browser, download Figma. Because why should you use the Figma, the desktop version, which is the application, the desktop application? Why should you use it? Because when you're installing fonts, when you're installing custom fonts in Figma, then the desktop app works for it. But for the what do you call it? For the web version, you have to install another application for it to work. So that's more, that will cost you more headache. So just get the desktop application, and if you are using Mac OS, you get for it. If you're using desktop OS, you get for it, and that's so. So you have the mobile app. The mobile app is not for designing, so don't think that you can use your phone for designing. Although you can use your phone, there are some tricks people use and some hacks, but it's not advisable. You have to get your OTG, connect it to your keyboard, and connect it to your mouse. It's stressful. Just advise you get a PC. But if there's any way you want to use your mobile phone, so you can still try that out. But the mobile phone, you have to use the web-based version only. This mobile application is for viewing your prototype. We'll come to know what is a prototype and what do we use prototypes for. So for iOS and for Android, it's just to view your designs, and also play your designs. You still have the font installer. This when it says desktop app does not require font installer. So if you have the desktop app, you just need to install the font. Just install the font to your Windows or your Mac, and that's all. Just restart your Figma, and that's all. But when you are using the web-based version, you have to install this. That's why I advise you download the application. So after downloading, you log in, and after creating your account and logging in, you come to this first page, and here will be blank. You have some introductory files here from Figma. I think is Design Playground or something like that. I've forgotten the name. So this is the whole interface, and we discussed briefly on this. So here is your account. Here's recent. This recent displays your recent files, like the files I recently used, the files I recently opened. I don't want to go because clients projects are there. So you have drafts. I don't want to go there also. Here you have your files. You can create files. You can also create teams. These are files. These are files. These are files. You can create file here. Want to create a file in Figma, you just come here, create a design and prototype file. But you also have FigJam, which you come to know when we are doing the research phase. You come to know about FigJam. So this Figma is the part we are going to be using for the UI part of the course. So that's it for here. We have the teams. The team, because Figma is collaborative platform where other people, more than one persons can come together and work, and we'll see that when we get to the page. So we also have the community. That's one thing about Figma. One thing about Figma, let's go to the community. One thing about Figma is that it is an open source. You can always search for things you need, and in the things you need in the community that other people have already uploaded, and it's free. It's free. For example, I want to get icons. I just search. You see tons of files free. Just copy and use. That's why Figma is very great, because it is free and it's an open source platform. You can see the concept. Go to this. So we have this icon set free. Just get a copy. Get a copy. This copies it to your draft. It copies it to your draft files, and it becomes yours. It becomes yours immediately. So you now own it. It's no longer connected to that. See, this is the destination, your draft. This study your draft now. And you can come here to view the icons. I have all the icons for yourself. So that's one great thing about Figma. It's open source. You can always search in the community. You don't understand anything. You don't have you are looking for social resources. You just come to the community, click on the search bar, and search. So after you are done searching and you want to return back to your Figma dashboard, just click on this web icon and you go back to the Figma dashboard. Okay, so let's go back to our Figma file. So this is a file I've created. Want to create a file, just click on this and you create a file. You can also import files that you downloaded from maybe another team, and you post it to Figma. Then when you click on this, okay, this the interface, and we'll discuss this briefly now. Okay, so this is the interface. So let's look at this first. Let's look at, because this contains a lot. So we're going to look at this maybe in the next series. So let's look at this first. This is called the layers panel. This is called the layers panel. It's called the layers panel because this is the default. Does not mean that we only have the layers here. The layers simply means our files that we are designing. This is a layer. So this is the layers panel, and it displays the hierarchy of how our elements, the hierarchy of our elements in the file. For example, this empty space, which is white, it is called the Figma canvas. It's called the Figma canvas. For example, if I want to create a new frame, which is this is a frame. How to create a new frame, and just click on A. And discuss this when we come to this part of it. Just going to show you something. So when I come here, click and drag. Okay, so this is a new frame created. So you see it shows the hierarchy of our elements. It shows that this frame is above this in hierarchy. If I take it down, it does not move because they are not nested in the same greater frame. But when we have this, for example, when we have this inside of this frame, I will take it to this place. We change this to an auto layout. Right. So this shows the hierarchy. If I take this first, it goes before the text. If I take it further, it goes before the text, and for that. So we'll come to look at this. Soon. Okay. So that's for that. So we have the layers panel. It displays what is in the canvas. Anything in the canvas displays it, and it is in hierarchy. It's in hierarchy. So we have our assets. The assets we'll come to talk about when we come to components and how to create reusable components. It's one great feature also in Figma to save time. So we have to search the search bar and the search for any of our layers. Say introduction, and search with the text. You can just search, see? Anywhere the text apply, it appears in this. It appeared in the file to display. So I can edit it from this place. can edit from this place. Take me and I can edit it. So that's with that. Then we have the pages. The pages displays your pages, but this is a file. These are we created, so you can create from here. It's a design file. Inside file, you also have pages. For the free plan, I think you only have a maximum of 3 pages, but I'm using the professional plan. So when you come here, this page one can be for your maybe your UX design, maybe the mobile version, the desktop version, your components, your styles, and others. So you have different pages, but all the pages they all return to the same file. That's the difference between page and file, because different pages can share the same resources, can share the same assets. So that's one key difference. You can share the same assets, but different files cannot share the same assets. Different pages in the same file can share the same asset. So that's about the layers panel. So you might be wondering, maybe your Figma has not this rulers here, this rulers here that you can drag to see how our design is. So just to make the rulers visible, just right click and then click on show. Oh, sorry, you come here, you can see my cursor. Come here and go to files. It has been long, I changed this last, I think. Now, yes, so this is it. When you come to view, just come to your rulers. You can make them visible. So I've disabled mine. You have to enable it again. I come here, view, show rulers. So that's that. So when you come here, the left panel is design panel, where we have our design properties panel. It's called the properties panel. So here it has a lot of functions we will talk about when we start to design as time goes on. Then we also have the prototype panel, which is another phase we'll talk about, and have the inspect, which is this for the developers when you want to give them the code, when they want to use the code for their development. So that's why Figma is so great. As you are developing, it is giving the CSS output, so you can just copy it and give it to your designer. So as a developer, as a designer, you have to be conversant and you have to be friendly with the development, because if you are designing not to development, not to the development standards, are just designing using, some people do, using rectangles for where you are supposed to use frames. This will cause problem when you are taking these values to the developers. So I hope we talk about this and we get it right. So this is the top panel, the layer menu, the top menu, which we'll talk about in the next video, because it contains a lot and I want to single it out in a video. So you can practice, just play around the file, check this, the hierarchy, and try to know about this. Just play around. When we get to the next video, you see how to go best about this. So in recap, I've talked about the introduction of UX design, talked about how to install Figma, how to log into your details, and how to search the community. Also talked about the recent and the files and themes. Also talked about the pages and the layers panel and our assets, which we talk about how to create assets or components, and how to search also in your Figma file. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. Till next meeting. Thank you.